Today, you're going to learn English through story. We're going to read a story together so you can improve all areas of your English. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Our story today is called The Job Offer. Emily and Jake sat in their favorite cafe sipping lattes and enjoying their usual Friday afternoon catch-up. Today, though, the air was filled with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. First, let's review their usual Friday afternoon catch-up. Do you know what a catch-up is? This is very commonly used. Here it's a noun, and it means a meeting or conversation where people share updates about their lives since they last spoke. For example, we had a great catch-up. Or I had a great catch-up with my mom today. So if you specify the person, you need the preposition with my mom today. Now the story used it as a noun form, which is common, but it's more common to use it as a verb, to catch up. For example, it was great catching up. Or is very common to say, we need to catch up soon. Don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now let's review the air was filled with. To be filled with. This means to contain a large amount of. We use this a lot in our daily lives. For example, my closet is filled with boxes of old photos. So there is a large amount of. And in our story, it's the air, which means the room they're in, the environment. The air was filled with a mix of, and then we have X and Y, A and B, 1 and 2, two things. So a combination, mixture, blend of two things, X and Y. It is possible to use this with three things, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, for example. You might be thinking learning English is filled with a mix of excitement and frustration. So we have a positive emotion and a negative emotion. That's normal, right? If that's normal for you, put that's right, put that's right in the comments because I know you're not alone. Now, hopefully you're also thinking my study routine contains a mix of, a combination of input, where you're learning the language, like right now, and output, where you're using the language. So you can take the lesson PDF, which you can download in the comments, and then practice, write example sentence, practice speaking with your new vocabulary. Let's continue our story. You won't believe what happened yesterday, Emily began. Jake looked intrigued. What's up? Emily took a deep breath. I got a job offer completely out of the blue. That's amazing. So what's the catch? Jake asked. Let's review. Jake looked intrigued. Now for verbs, you can use to be intrigued, to look intrigued, or even to seem intrigued. And intrigued is our adjective. It means curious or fascinated by something. So we often say this when we want to learn more about something. I'm intrigued. Tell me more. Or you could say, I'm intrigued by the endless idioms in the English language. So don't be frustrated, be intrigued. Now notice this is the passive voice, to be intrigued by. You can also use the active, which is the endless idioms in the English language, intrigue me. So this is the verb to intrigue in the active voice, but it's very common in the passive. Jake looked intrigued. What's up? What's up? Oh, this is a casual way to ask what's happening, what's wrong, or what someone wants to talk about. So native speakers use what's up in many different ways, more than just a greeting, which you may be familiar with. So let's review this. There could be a knock on my door, and then the person says, "Do you have a minute to chat?" And then I reply and say, "Sure, what's up?" I'm not greeting this person. I want to know the topic of the conversation. Or how about this one? What's up with the project? What's up with the project? I'm asking about the status of the project. Let's review this idiom out of the blue. Most students know this one. It's one of the most common English idioms. This means unexpectedly, without warning. And notice that pronunciation naturally. He called me out of the blue, out of the blue. You can also use this idiom at the very beginning of the sentence, which is often done in stories or in writing. Out of the blue, he called me and offered me a job. It was unexpected. Are you wondering what the catch means when Jake asked, "What's the catch? What's the catch?" Well, the catch, this is a noun, and it's a hidden problem or disadvantage. So you'll learn what the catch is in the next part of our story. It's for a startup that's just getting off the ground. The role is great, but I'm not sure how stable it is, Emily explained, her voice tinged with doubt. Jake nodded. Taking a leap of faith is scary, especially when things aren't set in stone. But this could be a golden opportunity. So do you now understand what the catch is? Remember, this is a hidden problem or a disadvantage. So what's a disadvantage? If Emily accepts the job, it may not last long. The job itself may not last long. Because remember, they said it's getting off the ground. This is an idiom, to get off the ground, and this means to start or succeed. So, as an example, did you know, and this is from Google, I don't know how accurate this is, but only 10% of startups ever get off the ground, which means ever succeed, ever fully start. So that means 90% of startups fail. So that's the hidden problem or disadvantage in Emily's job offer. That's the catch. And just in case you're not sure, a startup, this is a young company in the initial stages of operation. Let's review her voice tinged with doubt. Notice that pronunciation, tinged. To tinge with an emotion, this means that Emily's voice contained a small or subtle amount of that emotion, in this case, doubt. You could say her voice tinged with fear when she asked her boss for a promotion. There was a small amount of fear in her voice. You can also use the noun form and say there was a tinge of fear in her voice when she asked her boss for a promotion. Let's review a leap of faith. This means that you take a risk based on belief or trust in something uncertain. That's a leap of faith. For example, he took a leap of faith by moving to a foreign country. So your verb is take, and that's what you need to conjugate. So here in our story, Jake said, taking a leap of faith is scary, especially when things aren't set in stone. Do you know what this means? To be set in stone. This means fixed or unchangeable. You can say the agenda, something, isn't, our verb to be, isn't set in stone. Now notice this is in the negative. So if it's not set in stone, it means it can be changed or modified. But if someone says, sorry, the agenda's set in stone, they're letting you know that changes cannot be made. It's unchangeable. Let's review a golden opportunity. This is a great chance to achieve something. Maybe meeting the CEO is a golden opportunity. If the CEO knows your name, knows what you do, maybe she'll think of you when there's a promotion available. It could be a golden opportunity. So it sounds like Jake is trying to reassure Emily. Let's continue our story. True, Emily agreed, but I've got a good thing going at my current job. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. And what if it doesn't pan out? What if I regret it? Let's review the idiom to bite off more than one can chew. Do you know this idiom? This means to take on, to accept, to take on more responsibility than one can manage. I'm sure you've done this at some time in your life. For example, I agreed to plan the conference, but I think I bit off more than I can chew. So it sounds like it's a bigger job than the person expected, or they have many other jobs, which makes it difficult. Now let's review to pan out. This is a very common phrasal verb, to pan out. This means to develop in a particular way, and that particular way is successful. Let's review this example. Your friend might say to you, I thought you were spending the summer in Greece, but it's summer and you're at home, not in Greece. So you can reply back and say, unfortunately, our trip didn't pan out. So we commonly use this in the negative. Didn't pan out. Didn't happen in a successful way. Notice how Emily said, what if I regret it? Regret it. What does the it represent? Well, if you put it in a full sentence, you need to use the gerund verb. What if I regret quitting my job? Or what if I regret accepting the new job? Both of them would work in this situation. Let's continue the story. Jake shrugged. There are no guarantees in life, but you can't live in fear. You're smart and capable. If it doesn't pan out, you'll bounce back. If you stay where you are, you might miss out on something incredible, Jake said, his enthusiasm infectious. Notice we're using pan out again in the negative. If it doesn't pan out, if it doesn't happen successfully, you'll bounce back. Do you know what this means? To bounce back. This means to recover quickly. You can use this in a situation of success and failure, but we also use this with our health. For example, he bounced back quickly after the surgery. He recovered quickly. Let's review. You might miss out on something. Ooh, to miss out on. Everyone's fear. This is when you lose a chance or opportunity. It's very common for native speakers simply to say, don't miss out. Don't miss out. Now, if you use the something, you need the gerund verb because you also need the additional preposition on. Don't miss out on joining. And Jake said you might miss out on something incredible. Incredible is an adjective that means extremely good. You can say, the new job is incredible. Instead of incredible, you could say amazing, extraordinary, awesome, remarkable. All of those are synonyms. Notice how it said his enthusiasm infectious, infectious. If something is infectious, in this case a positive emotion, it could be a negative emotion, it means it has an effect on someone and it makes them want to experience it too. So Jake's positive attitude is infectious. This means Jake is positive. So now I feel more positive because it's infectious. Let's continue our story. Emily sighed, feeling lighter. I was really on the fence, but talking to you helped. You know what? I'm going to go for it. I know it's a gamble, but you're right. I'll bounce back. Jake grinned. That's the spirit. And Em, remember, I've always got your back. Let's review. Emily sighed. Emily sighed, feeling lighter. So to feel lighter, this is when an emotional weight or burden has lifted. It's no longer there, so you feel lighter because that emotional weight was making you heavy. You might say, I feel lighter now that my exams are over. Or you could say, I feel lighter now that I've made a decision. And this is what happened to Emily, because remember, she said, I was really on the fence. To be on the fence, this means to be undecided, unsure what action to take. But all of that indecision can weigh you down. So you might say, we're on the fence about where to go for vacation. Someone could ask you, are you going to Greece on vacation? And you can say, we're still on the fence. So this means you haven't decided. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But Emily is no longer on the fence because she said, I'm going to go for it. So to go for it, this means to take a risk and try something. So someone could encourage you, I could encourage you and say, you should just go for your IELTS. You should just try it. See what happens. You might pass. Or I could ask you, why haven't you scheduled your IELTS yet? You should just go for it. So we use this to encourage. Notice how Emily acknowledged it's a gamble. To be a gamble, this is something that involves risk or uncertainty. For example, moving to a new country is a gamble, but you should go for it. You should take a leap of faith and go for it. Jake grinned. That's the spirit. This is an idiom, and it's used to express encouragement or approval. If your friend tells you, I'm going to ask my boss for a promotion, you could reply back and say, that's the spirit, to encourage your friend. Or your fellow student says, I'm going to start speaking in English every day. And you can encourage your fellow classmate and say, that's the spirit. And Jake ended with something very positive. I've always got your back. Remember this, because to have someone's back, this is an idiom, and it means that you're there to support or help someone when they need it. It's a very encouraging thing to say to someone. For example, if you need help today, I've got your back. This sounds like I can call you if I need it. Now that you know all the vocabulary, let's review the story from start to finish. Emily and Jake sat in their favorite cafe, sipping lattes and enjoying their usual Friday afternoon catch-up. Today, though, the air was filled with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. You won't believe what happened yesterday, Emily began. Jake looked intrigued. What's up? Emily took a deep breath. I got a job offer, completely out of the blue. That's amazing. So what's the catch? Jake asked. It's for a startup that's just getting off the ground. The role is great, but I'm not sure how stable it is, Emily explained, her voice tinged with doubt. Jake nodded. Taking a leap of faith is scary, especially when things aren't set in stone, but this could be a golden opportunity. True, Emily agreed, but I've got a good thing going at my current job. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. And what if it doesn't pan out? What if I regret it? Jake shrugged. There are no guarantees in life, but you can't live in fear. You're smart and capable. If it doesn't pan out, you'll bounce back. If you stay where you are, you might miss out on something incredible, Jake said, his enthusiasm infectious. Emily sighed, feeling lighter. I was really on the fence, but talking to you helped. You know what? I'm going to go for it. I know it's a gamble, but you're right. I'll bounce back. Jake grinned. That's the spirit. And Em, remember, I've always got your back. Do you want to keep learning English through story? If you do, put let's go, put let's go in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And you can keep expanding your vocabulary with this lesson right now.